Well, good morning. Welcome to the Let's Get Loud podcast with just a solo podcast episode with I actually didn't realize how scratchy my voice was until I started actually talking this morning. Well, hello, everyone. It feels like it's been a while since I've come and chatted with you guys. Last week, I was sick and we had the podcast with the boys. So we just released that one instead of a solo podcast episode. So today, oh my gosh, I'm so sorry. I'm going to cough. Whoa. So today I'm going to give you guys a little bit of a life update and I'm going to talk about recommitting to your goals. So little life update, I always like to kind of keep you guys in the loop. And as you guys know, if you ever have any questions about anything, I am an open book. Please send me a DM. I'm happy to chat about whatever, whenever, however. Okay, so what's been up since I last chatted with you guys? I went to Banff. It was incredible. What an amazing trip. What an amazing opportunity. I already cannot wait to go back. It's so stunningly beautiful there. And unfortunately, the day we had scheduled to go to Lake Louise, it was really overcast. So I feel like I'm owed like a redo. So I'm going to have to go back there. I'd love to take the kids actually. So that was incredible. Leading up to Banff, I had been working a lot. And it just is what it is. I have chosen a life where I literally could work 24/7. And I was feeling tired. I was feeling burnt out. And if I'm going to be really honest, I felt like I was immune to burnout and that like wasn't a thing that I was going to happen to me. I definitely have a high tolerance for life. It just, all of us have a different tolerance for day-to-day life. And I do find mine is quite high. I can handle a lot. And so I just thought I was invincible. It's almost like when I turned 40 and I thought I was invincible. And then I realized that I was 40 and that everything was starting to hurt and that hangovers were real aggressive in my 40s. So I had this feeling before we left where my brain was telling me, you need to make a change. This is not sustainable. This is not the life you want to live. And that's hard for me to share. That's me being extremely vulnerable. Now, here's the thing. I have had that realization at 2 other times in my life, and they were extremely impactful, life-changing, altering moments. It changed the trajectory of my life. And I would not be here doing this podcast if I had not acted on both of those things. So thing number one was when I first decided to lose weight, when I finally was done with the yo-yo dieting and I was ready to do this for real. So that was when the twins were 1, so 8 years ago. 8 years ago, I knew that I was not living a full life. Now, here's the thing. It took me a couple of months to act on it after I had that thought. Now, the thought was coming in. It was coming in, but I was pushing it away. And I share this with you guys because I think you can probably relate. So the thought was, you're not living a full life. I know you're not living your full potential. You are tired. And I would push the thought out. I'm fine. I'm happy. You know, I have an amazing job, an amazing husband. I have all the kids that I want. Like, I'm so happy. But that nagging thought was there. And it just kept coming back, kept coming back. Finally, I let the thought in. And why is it so scary to let the thought in that you feel like you need a change? Because that means that you're going to need to change. It means that action is coming next. And sometimes that feels overwhelming. It feels a lot. But I need to remind you guys that once you decide you do want to make a change, and once you decide that you're wanting to change the trajectory of the path that you're on right now, it doesn't have to be overnight. And all you need to do to change the trajectory is just to move just a tiny bit and to stay connected to that and to stay focused with that and try and do something every single day that gets you closer to that. So that was one time. Then the other time was when I quit teaching. So that was 3 years ago. Seems like it's a lifetime ago because it was right before COVID. I made the decision to end teaching. And again, it was the same realization. I'm not living a full life. So I was working so much because I was doing your weight loss and I was teaching and I was a mom and a wife and all that stuff. I was doing all the things. I was working so hard to create this beautiful life for my family that I barely could enjoy because all I was doing was working. And again, I had that nagging feeling. It's time, Alicia. Do you know how scary it was to pull the pin on teaching? Such a secure, amazing benefits, amazing vacation time. I remember when I went into HR, she was like, okay, so like, you're just like done. And she was like, you're not getting paid. I'm like, yeah. And she's like, you don't have your benefits anymore. I'm like, yeah. So it's scary. It is scary. And then the pandemic hit. And then I was like, oh, wow, did I just make the right choice? But I would not be here today if I had not made that choice, because turning around and not taking all that energy that I was spending on teaching and pouring that energy into your weight loss helped to build your weight loss. And so that was important for me. And it helped my mental, physical health. So then let's fast forward to Banff, right before Banff. It just happened that Your Weight Loss and Beauty Counter, sometimes they collide and they're both intense at the same time. And it was one of those times. And you know what? I found myself, let's say, going to the hairdresser and she's like, how are you? And I'm like, busy. I would say that every single time. Just one second. Do you need something? Oh, okay. I'm just recording a podcast. Okay. It's a PD day here. Also, if you hear a violin, there's violins in my home. Okay. So back to what I was saying about working, colliding. So at the hairdresser, I was always saying, just so busy. And even to Neil, I would say like, oh, just got to get past this one project and then it's going to ease off a little bit. But I created a little bit of self-awareness. And I was like, Alicia, you keep saying it's going to get better. It's going to be less busy. You're going to have more free time. It's not happening. And I do not want to be the person that says things over and over that don't happen. That's not who I am as a person. And I had this really nagging feeling going into that trip. The trip gave me perspective. I also came home and I was sick, okay? Quite sick. And I find when you're not feeling 100%, that gives you perspective as well. And I paused and I rested and I didn't work as much. And I just realized at the end of the day, it is me that is going to have to make this choice to pull back a little bit from how much I work, because I want to live the fullest life possible. Okay. I want to live the fullest life possible. That's my goal. That is actually my mission, to help every single woman do the same thing. And for some of you, that involves existing in a smaller body. For some of you, it involves just prioritizing yourself, a little bit of column A, a little bit of column B. But I wasn't being the person that I am helping you guys be for the last couple months. I wasn't prioritizing my health in the sense that I was, still going for my walks, still maintaining my weight, but just not prioritizing it, not being intentional with what I'm putting in my body, not spending time reflecting and setting intentions. Like, if I don't feel like I have 20 minutes a day for myself, that's a problem. That's a problem. And I wasn't fueling my family as much as I really wanted to be. I was just doing like quick, easy, fast, in a real rut when it came to cooking. There was just little projects around the house that just weren't getting done. I needed a little bit of better balance. I needed to create some boundaries. And you know what? This podcast, I know you guys are like, isn't this a weight loss podcast? It kind of is. This podcast is a how can we be the best podcast. That's what this podcast is about. And I just wanted to share these moments with you guys because I know that I'm sure many of you listening also have this nagging feeling. And maybe it's that you're not happy in your relationship, you're not happy in your body, you're not happy in your job. And right now you're pushing out those thoughts because if you let them in and you accept them, that means actions are necessary. I want to tell you that you need to let those thoughts in. And that as scary as it is, a better version of you and your life is waiting for you behind those actions and those next few steps, whether it is existing in the body that you're in, whether it is your job or your relationships. Even as a mother, like, I was like, I don't like how much quality time I am with the kids a lot, but, I had fallen out of the habit of like reading with them. And so it was like, you know what? I want to make those changes. Here's the piece as well. No one's coming to save you. I was like, ooh, I really get to be my own boss. Like Neil's like, he just goes with the flow. Like if I was like, I'm going to work 24/7, he'd be like, okay, like seems like a lot, but okay. Like he's just so supportive that way. So I don't have to answer to anyone about how much I do and don't work. And so I had to make this decision. No one is coming to save you. If you have the nagging feeling in your brain that you are not fully happy, satisfied, your best favorite self, we need to start taking actions. And no action too small. I'm actually going to record another solo podcast episode, and I will next Friday, I'm going to talk about recommitting to your goals, because during this period of time, this season where I was working a lot, where I went away, where I was sick, I very much disconnected from my personal health goals. And you can actually apply this, it's a 4-step strategy, and you can apply it to any goal you have. I disconnected from it just because it just wasn't a priority. And now I want to remind you guys, I'm on a maintenance journey. So I'm just maintaining my weight right now. So fun, enjoying it. Yes, let's do that. But it doesn't mean that I don't just like, oh, I'm done now. And like, I still have to be very purposeful with maintaining my weight. Like showing up and being who I am still requires work. It's fun work, but it still requires work. And I had disconnected a little bit from my own personal development goals. That's the best way to say it. It's not a weight loss goal, it's a personal development goal. And I had stepped away from it. Anyways, so I am going to be reconnecting to that. I'm really giving myself grace though. I gave myself a couple days to get the stuff done around the house. I gave myself permission to sleep in. I'd been getting up at 5 a.m. every morning to work, which I love, and I will get back to that. But when you're then also working until 11 o'clock at night, that's a lot. And so I was tired. So I've given myself grace. I've given myself permission to sleep in until Monday, get back on track Monday, right? I've given myself a break from moving my body just so I can focus on other things and get caught up. Anyways, it feels so good. And I just wanted to share where I was at with you guys. So I'm reconnecting with cooking. I'm reconnecting with reading with the kids. I'm putting my phone down. I'm coloring with them. I'm going to do puzzles with them, watching movies with them, but putting my phone down and not working as much. And it feels amazing. Anyways, I just wanted to update you guys on that. And of course, next week I will come here and I'll talk to you exactly how I plan to recommit to my personal development goals and in detail what that looks like for me. I'm going to really hunker down for the next 2 weeks to finish the 2 weeks of October, which will Tuesday will be 2 weeks in October. That's all I'm going to look at. I'm only going to take off that bite-sized piece of the last 2 weeks of October, and I'm excited. So if you guys are feeling the same and you want to recommit to your goals, make sure you catch that podcast episode. Okay. As always, thank you guys so much for tuning in. I really appreciate it. And my DMs are absolutely always open. Have a great day, guys.